There is a famous American proverb attributed to the philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson that asks, "What is a weed? A plant whose virtues have not yet been discovered." But what if I told you that this proverb is incomplete? What if the virtues were discovered, documented, and celebrated for thousands of years, but someone simply decided to bury them under layers of concrete and calculated ignorance? Look at the ground right now. Yes, directly beneath your feet. In that narrow crack of the pavement in front of your house, or in that neglected corner of the neighborhood park. There is a plant growing there right now, without permission, without irrigation, without care. You step on it. The city sprays it with herbicides. Modern society calls it a weed. But what you are looking at is not just grass, it is a complete pharmacy. It is a nutritional powerhouse containing more vitamin C than the expensive oranges you buy at the store. It is the sole survivor that fed Roman armies, saved peasants from famine, and treated our ancestors' infections long before the invention of antibiotics. Its scientific name is malva neglecta, or common mallow. Even the name carries a cruel irony: neglecta, neglected. In the next 20 minutes, we're going to pull back the curtain on the greatest botanical cover-up in modern history. We will discover why corporations fight this plant, why you won't find it in the supermarket despite its astronomical value, and how this tiny green rebel could be the key to your health and resilience in an increasingly toxic world. Welcome to the story of the rebel plant. Before we dive deep, join our community of curious minds. Subscribe to The Career Botanist for the hidden science of nature. Let's begin. To the naked eye, it is just nature. But look closer. It is engineering. It is economics. It is survival. Welcome to the hidden side of biology. This is modern botany. We have all been programmed with a single idea. Want immunity? Eat an orange. Marketing campaigns in the 20th century succeeded in making citrus the sole symbol of vitamin C. But let's speak the language of numbers, the only language that doesn't lie. Modern laboratory analyses of wild mallow leaves, the ones growing for free, have shown shocking results. In every 100 grams of fresh mallow leaves, we find vitamin C concentrations exceeding 50 milligrams. That is a number that rivals, and in some wild samples even exceeds what you find in 100 grams of peeled oranges. But the story doesn't end with vitamin C. An orange gives you sugar, water, and a vitamin. Mallow, it offers you a periodic table of elements. We are talking about calcium levels that would make a glass of milk blush. We are talking about the kind of iron that anemia patients search for in pharmaceutical pills. We are talking about potassium essential for your heart, and zinc and magnesium that form the bedrock of your immunity and neurological function. Imagine this scene. You go to the pharmacy to buy supplements for iron, calcium, and vitamin C, paying a fortune, while outside you crush a plant under your shoe that contains all these elements in a biological matrix your body absorbs far more efficiently than any synthetic pill. Here lies the pivotal question. If this plant is a genuine superfood, why don't we see it shrink-wrapped in the organic aisle next to kale and spinach? The answer isn't medical. The answer, as you are about to discover, is purely economic. In our modern world, nutritional value does not dictate what we eat. What dictates our diet is shippability and shelf life. The mallow plant has one fatal flaw in the eyes of capitalism. It is wild, it is free, and it is incredibly sensitive after harvest. The moment you pick a mallow leaf, it begins to wilt within hours. You cannot stack it in massive shipping containers and transport it across oceans to sit fresh for weeks in a supermarket fridge. An orange, it has a thick skin. It withstands shock, storage, and shipping. It is the perfect product for global trade. Mallow, however, is a logistical nightmare. It cannot be harvested by giant machines because it grows irregularly. Its seeds cannot be monopolized because it produces thousands of them and scatters them everywhere for free. No agricultural corporation can slap a patent on it. Therefore, the industrial agricultural system turned against it. A plant that generates no profit for corporations must disappear. And so, the war began. In the mid-20th century, with the rise of industrial agriculture, mallow was officially classified as a weed. Special herbicides were developed to kill it. Farmers were convinced that its presence threatened their cash crops. Free food was replaced by commodity food. Instead of walking out to gather dinner from the nearby fields, people were forced to work long hours to earn money to buy food of lesser nutritional value from the supermarket. It is the ultimate paradox. We work hard to buy what nature used to give us for free. But modern science didn't discover mallow. It merely reconfirmed what humanity knew by instinct. Let's go back in time. 2,000 years. In ancient Rome, mallow was not a weed. It was the medicine of the poor and the food of emperors. The famous Greek physician Dioscorides wrote about it in the 1st century AD. The historian Pliny the Elder famously said, "Whosoever takes a spoonful of the mallows shall that day be free from all diseases that may come to him." Roman soldiers carried it on their military campaigns. Why? Because it grows everywhere they marched. It was their guaranteed source of food and medicine in one package. In the Middle Ages, monasteries grew it in their sacred physic gardens. The monks knew its secret. They cooked it as a stew, stuffed its leaves like vine leaves, or ate it raw. They didn't have laboratories to analyze magnesium percentages, but they possessed something more important: observation. They observed that children who ate it had better health. They noticed that the elderly who consumed it didn't suffer from brittle bones. History didn't forget mallow. We forgot how to read the book of nature. Now that you know the truth, how can you benefit from it? The good news is, you won't have to search far. Malva neglecta or its cousin Malva silvestris are likely around you right now. Look for round, slightly lobed leaves that resemble an open palm with gently serrated edges. The texture is slightly fuzzy or soft. The flowers are small, ranging from white to pale purple, with 5 delicate heart-shaped petals. As for the fruit, it is unmistakable. It looks like a tiny wheel of cheese divided into slices, which is why in the West it is often called cheeseweed. A crucial warning. Because mallow is a master at absorbing minerals from the soil, it is a double-edged sword. Never pick mallow from the side of busy roads where it may have absorbed lead and exhaust fumes, nor from manicured parks sprayed with pesticides. Look for it in clean, open wastelands, or in your own backyard if you let it grow in peace. How do you eat it? The young leaves are eaten raw in salads. The taste is mild and pleasant, not bitter. Larger leaves can be cooked exactly like spinach or kale, adding a rich thickness to soups thanks to the mucilage. The seeds, the little cheese wheels, are a crunchy, protein-rich snack that children in the past used to forage for fun. In the end, The story of the mallow is not just a story about a useful plant. It is a story about how we see the world. The modern system has taught us that value comes from price, from packaging, and from scarcity. But the mallow teaches us the exact opposite. It teaches us that true value can be free, abundant, and available to everyone. It teaches us that resistance isn't always loud. Sometimes resistance is simply growing silently in a place where they wanted you to perish. The next time you walk down the street and glimpse that small plant audaciously breaking through the pavement, don't step on it. Stop for a moment. Look at it with respect. You are not looking at a weed. You are looking at a forgotten history, a living pharmacy, and a masterclass in survival. Perhaps, as the American proverb said, we simply didn't know its virtues. But now, you no longer have an excuse. The earth is offering you its treasures. Are you ready to bow down and pick them up?